For many around the world, the Queen's 70-year reign was marked by stability and diplomacy. Under Queen Elizabeth, the royal family took pains to distance itself from the country's politics and the monarchy's involvement in the long and cruel colonial history. But for millions of people in various parts of the world who lived through and are still suffering the consequences of the royal family's brutal colonialism and racism, the Queen's legacy will live on, in the form of the violent and lasting rule that the royal family inherited and have overseen, not to mention, profited from. Before her death on Thursday, the 8th of September 2022, the Queen's official title had changed several times since she was born. Her Royal Highness Princess Elizabeth of York was born on April 21st, 1926. She was christened Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor of York, in honor of her mother, paternal grandmother, and paternal great-grandmother. She was a princess, a duchess, and of course, Her Majesty the Queen. Many defenders of the royal family argue that Queen Elizabeth should be shielded from such scrutiny because she distanced the family from their heinous past and made attempts to amend the history to past and present colonies through events such as Commonwealth tours. Decades on from direct colonial rule, critics rebut this argument, saying that the royal family still hasn't confronted its past, nor compensated the people who continue to suffer as a result of the British monarchy and colonization. The royal family have also faced criticism for appearing to attempt to sweep its history under the rug, especially during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee this year. For almost as long as the monarchy has existed, it has been a colonialist and imperialist power, colonizing and exploiting dozens upon dozens of countries and territories, in particular in the global south and the Caribbean, many of which share common consequences of poverty and unrelenting oppression up to this day. Over centuries, the UK has funneled trillions of pounds from its colonies to enrich itself and continues to profit from its racist past to this day. The monarchy was built on slavery, overseeing and establishing a slave trade that saw the transportation of millions of Africans and South and North Americans forcibly trafficked to other countries, in particular the Caribbean. The slave trade was so vast that it wasn't until 2015 that British government finally paid off its debts to former slave-owning families and organizations. When this fact gained public attention, it turned into a major controversy in the United Kingdom. The UK government can acknowledge and compensate 19th century slave owners and their families, but have never acknowledged the barbaric act of slavery with its heinous atrocities. Begs a question, don't you think? Elizabeth, whose rule began in 1952, did not herself enact these policies. She did do her small part and stepped in, when, for instance, former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher refused to help end apartheid in South Africa. But others, like those who directly suffered under British imperialism during her time on the throne, say that she has had a direct impact on modern decision-making. Some historians say it's unclear which of the UK imposed horrors occurred under her rule, like those in places like Kenya and Ireland. Were those perhaps authorized by her? Others argue that she bears responsibility for these atrocities to begin with. Similarly, this distance between the Crown and the country's political decisions often does not hold for victims of Britain's colonial rule that occurred under Elizabeth. The symbolism of her rule does not escape those on the left, who argue that in modern days the throne is a symbol of oppression, whiteness, and a vast wealth inequality in the UK, even if mainstream members of the UK left do not dare advocate for its abolishment. Elizabeth was at least partially or directly responsible for some of the inequalities that the country perpetuated while she was on the throne. In recent years, the Crown has resisted calls for reparations from countries like Barbados and Jamaica for their bloody and repulsive exploitation in the British slave trade. The royal family's record of racism domestically over the past decades does not reflect well upon the Crown or its future. These inequalities have been preserved within the walls of Buckingham Palace itself. Royal advisors banned coloured immigrants or foreigners from working in the palace until at least the late 1960s, and that's over a decade into Elizabeth's reign. The family's deep-seated racism appears to live on right up till today. In 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, despite protestations from family members like Prince William, have outright left the royal family over racism issues within the royal family? There are just too many questions and absolutely no answers. Thank you so much for watching.